let's get this show started, shall we? So, standard disclaimer as ever, I do not speak for Onyx Path, nor is this project official material. All views and opinions expressed are my own, and this material will be available to buy on Canis Minor eventually. I'm merely a grateful fan with a platform. I am also disabled. I do experience muscle spasms that can affect the muscles in my jaw, neck, tongue, etc. That can be disquieting to see. If it becomes a lot, I often just turn the webcam off, but also can affect my natural stutter or slurring of speech anyway. So if it becomes too much, the stream will end, but so far it hasn't. Hopefully that continues. I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought, so I will try to acknowledge one train of thought. I will try to acknowledge points raised in chat while continuing what I'm talking about, and then I'll loop back around to points raised once I finish my current train of thought. But yes, this is episode 75. We're 75 episodes in. I've been thinking about episode 100 and what to do for that. I've got some ideas. I doubt they'll be successful, but you know, I could be surprised. More to the point, this is episode 12 of season 8 of Behind the Screen. We're back with Pugmire, and we're back with what used to be called Life on the Road, but I discovered that was a book already on Canis Minor, so I cannot call it Life on the Road. I also panic renamed it this morning without actually checking to see if Highways and Byways is a thing on Canis Minor. So I'm just really quickly searching for that, just so I know if I need to be thinking about something else, like a different title. There are other books called Highways and Byways, but I'm not seeing anything on Canis Minor, so as long as I preface it with Pugmire, it should be fine. Maybe, hopefully. Slight change up though, however, in the usual running order of things. I'm not going to give you a digested version of the Monday meeting notes because I realised that usually there was no actual point. I will promote what is coming up. But the Onyx Path put out a weekly news update anyway on YouTube. I believe it's Wednesdays. So I will just promote what I can, as well as the any like crowdfunding campaigns and things. However, if you do want to read them for yourself, the Monday meeting notes are right there. I don't put these in the video description on YouTube. I don't see the point because it goes up a week after. It goes up after the next week's Monday meeting notes are up. So didn't see much point. But things to promote this week. Mostly things actually slightly related to this show. Rich has provided some in-progress artwork for two monsters from Threats and Curs, which is a Realms of Pugmire monster book. One of them is my baby, and it looks fantastic. So please do check that out at the... just read it anyway, but specifically check out the art preview for Threats and Curs. The stream schedule for the rest of the week is obviously the show now. Later today at 8 PM Eastern, Trinity Continuum Anima, the Beginner's Guide. Trinity Continuum Anima came out last week. It's the Cyberpunk Trinity Continuum game that is actually two games in one. You get, on the one hand, you get the Cyberpunk, and on the other hand, you get the fantasy MMO that everyone's playing in the Cyberpunk world. So if that sounds like something of interest to you, please do check it out. Wednesday at 9 PM, Scarred Land, Sins of Shelzar. Thursday at 9 PM, Hunt of the Vigil, Fear and Loathing, 2nd edition. And Sunday, 6 PM, Scion, 2nd edition, Godsend. That is the week schedule on this channel. Of course, happy holidays from the Onyx Path. As I say, there's a weekly news update on the YouTube channel. More importantly, though, things to promote. There is currently an end-of-year sale going on at both Studio 2 and Indie Press Revolution. Both of them traditional printing partners. Sorry, both of them traditional outlets for the... Both of them outlets for the traditionally printed books. There we go. I got there in the end. Well, Studio 2 is the traditionally printed books. Indie Press Revolution is the deluxe prestige books and things of that nature. But both of them have sales going on right now. Links are in the Monday meeting notes. On sale this week, Hunt of the Vigil 2nd Edition Killing Time, Jumpstart for Hunt of the Vigil 2nd Edition, and also, out of nowhere, Once and Future, a source book for Scion 2nd Edition, concerning the legends of King Arthur and the Welsh pantheon and Welsh myths and things of that nature. If either of those things do excite you, please check them out. And then game night with Onyx Path, technically it's the last Friday of every month, which is the 30th, so 30th of December, and the highlight this month is on Exalted Essence, and more information on that can be found at exclamation game night. Although obviously any games are welcome. Largely, I think that's all I really need to do. I was using obviously this as a crutch and a way to generate hype and conversation, but it didn't really generate either of those things as far as I can tell. So I'm just going to move straight back onto the content of the show rather than giving you the Monday meeting notes rundown. I will be doing a Monday meeting notes rundown at the end of the show as well. So YouTube, Twitch VOD audiences, you can enjoy that. Something to note, obviously, there was no mention of crowdfunding campaigns. The Abyssal's Exalted 3rd Edition crowdfunding Splat Book crowdfunder ran out at something like 550% funded, so huge thanks to everyone involved in that. So let's get back onto the show. It's been some time since we addressed highways and byways. I need to rename my Word document. I'll zoom in for benefit of those at home. But for those who are unaware, I mean, it's been 2 months since I ran the show anyway. So we'll go back to absolute basics. I mentioned a couple of things so far, Canis Minor being one of them. We'll start there. Canis Minor is a community content platform. You might notice that this is a content creation stream. Those two are linked. It's a community content platform where you can write material compatible with, in Canis Minor's case specifically, put the Pugmire game line. Plural, maybe? I don't know. And you can sell it for 50% of royalties. It's a pretty sweet deal. Obviously, I write my own games as well, and I can honestly tell you that people prefer to buy games they already know. Community content just sells better than original material for the vast majority of writers. Obviously, your mileage may vary. But Canis Minor, as I mentioned, is the community content platform for Pugmire. Pugmire is a D20 game. First edition Pugmire, Realms of Pugmire, was kickstarted earlier in the year. First edition Pugmire uses a much adapted version of the 5th edition rule set as its underlying mechanics. Pugmire itself is a post-apocalyptic fantasy game where you play uplifted animals, most notably cats, dogs, rodents, lizards, and birds. And first edition anyway. And yeah, it can be as weird or as creepy as you want it to be. It can be super wholesome. It could be any mixture in between. But the general shtick is that at some point in the long distant past, humanity gave the listed animals the ability to walk on their hind legs, expanded their intelligence, prolonged their lives. Not, hugely. They're still only live to about 50, but that's better than 15. And then humanity disappeared, and those animals are left behind to kind of rebuild civilization, rediscover what it means to be intelligent and things of that nature. The different books present different character types. So Pugmire is dogs, Monarchies of Mao is cats, and functions as its own core rulebook. There is Squeaks in the Deep, which I believe functions as a core rulebook, although I have not yet read it, so please do not quote me on that. Or if you do, quote it with horrendous asterisks and pinches of salt. And Pirates of Pugmire, which is a supplement, but that adds in... Squeaks in the Deep adds in mice and rats. And then Pirates of Pugmire adds in the adds in lizards and birds. So there's plenty of content to be playing around with already. So my feeling when I come around to planning any material really community content usually though, is kind of what niches aren't filled, what are people possibly looking to buy that aren't already in the core rulebook. It doesn't particularly matter if, or to me at least, doesn't particularly matter if that material is already covered elsewhere, because your take on it is almost certainly going to be different to someone else's take on it. Sorry, 1 second. So, while yes, obviously having wholly original material is the dream, sometimes you're not going to be able to get that. So you're looking for, really, when it comes to community content, writing, you're looking for, how's this typo persisted? Good lord. You're looking for two things, really. Something that you can at least put your own spin on, as original as possible, and something, actually going back to that, if you are using someone else's mechanics as inspiration, try to check with them first that it's okay, and at the very least credit them and point them in the direction of the work. Although again, if at all possible, get their permission to do so first. It's just polite more than anything. I would never release something that, you know, draws heavily from someone else's work without getting their permission to do so first. Some people do, and that's a whole thing in and of itself. But my advice would be, don't do it. Do everything you can to secure that permission. Even if it is simply allow them to see the work in progress and make changes based on what they don't like where your material intersects with theirs. Regardless, don't plagiarize. It's bad. And also, find something you're excited to write about. I am currently at a stage in one of my community content projects where it's not entirely what I'm really happy doing or what I'm excited to be doing, but it is a necessary part of the product. I left it for last, and it's just taking far longer than it ought because I just don't enjoy it as much as the other parts of the process. I mean, I'll get there, I'll do it, but knowing that that is the last hurdle before I can, skipping a few steps, before I can share a project I'm truly excited about that I think a lot of people will enjoy, it's helping me get over that hurdle. However, so Highways and Byways, a bit of an abstract title, but it's about the travel bit of a Pugmire game. A lot of D20 games obviously have at least some focus on exploration and travel. You're almost certainly not going to spend your entire time in, say, the city of Pugmire, or Water Port, or any of the other centres of civilization. There will be some travel involved. So Life on the Road, Highways and Byways, is about the travel side of things. So far I've come up with a variant rule set for chase sequences, mostly because this isn't in the core rulebook, and I thought it would be fun to have a chase system that isn't simply I roll, you roll, I roll, you roll, because that's kind of boring after a while. There's obviously many ways you can do a chase system, but the way that I handled it as a recap is make a template check. I make a generic enough system that can apply to foot chases as well as vehicle chases, as well as something compatible with the Pirates of Pugmire ship rules, because there are vehicles already in the game. They're ships. So that's the system that I used to create vehicles for land vehicles. So everything happens at the same time. So each team rolls at the same time, but every character is part of a team, usually player characters and allies versus antagonists. At the start of every round, each character decides what they want to do, and then as long as one character per team makes a successful handling check, which is to pilot the actual vehicle, that team makes one progress in the chase. Handling check must be performed at the end of the round after every other check has been made by the team. My reasoning here was so that you wouldn't just get an entire team trying to pass to succeed at that handling check. If they kept failing, like it is a one and done roll, but everyone else gets to do something cool during the scene, during the round. And you have to be, that's your entire turn, is to do the handling check, and also you have to be in the right place to do it. But it uses the vehicle's handling place of an ability score modifier. Oh, I need to say instead here. Don't worry, while I'm recapping this for you all at home, I'm recapping it for myself as well. You've probably just watched the playthrough of the playlist at this point on my YouTube channel. I have not had that opportunity, and I have not had the time recently to read through things. So this is my refresher. Sorry. However, unlike most ability checks, a handling check has no difficulty. On a botch, so on a 1, you make no progress, that's it. On a failure, which is a 12 or lower, you make no progress, you fall behind, any narrative consequences of that occur. However, you may choose to lose 5 integrity, which is basically the vehicle's health, to gain advantage on the next handling check, which is to represent you pushing the vehicle beyond its limits. You may add 1 fortune to the fortune ball, just as a not consequence, consolation. Just took that from Trinity Continuum. But you can choose to fail rolls in Pugmire to add fortune anyway. Or you're incapacitated until the end of the next round. No other character in your team may attempt the handling check. You automatically roll a 13 on the handling check. That is simply to represent you kind of just getting tunnel vision and focusing to the exclusion of all else on the handling check. On the result of 13, you get 1 progress and a complication occurs. There is a table. On a 22, on 13 is 21. Sorry, the complication. You gain 1 progress. Complication occurs. On a 22 plus, you gain 1 progress. No further complications. And on a triumph, which is a natural 20, you gain 2 progress. Progress is just an abstract tracker for the chase. 3 progress is the minimum goal, 6 is the maximum goal, and simply the first to reach the goal wins. There's no, there's nothing else there with it. That is it. You are just racing to the finish line. And if you, I do need to reword this last one. Automatically rolling a 13. I need to reword it something like you treat the roll as having a result of 13 on the handling check on the table below. Whatever. I need to think about that. But then there is a whole series of complications. For what you roll, rather than just having I believe I talked about this when I made this table. But again, it's just in the name of streamlining everything. The handling check result indicates the complication. A lot of times there will be roll on this table. You make a roll, and then you roll on another table to determine the outcome. Whereas that first roll is pretty random anyway, so why not just combine the table and the result, which is where this handling check table came from. 9 different results will give you 9 different complications to your roll, to the chase. Some you lose health, some reduce your modifier, etc., etc. I think they were all. My original draft was half were positive, half were negative, but then I just made it all. It's a complication. What of it? And then there was some guidance given how to adapt these results for maritime chasers and for foot chasers. But as part of that, as you can see in the document, I also adapted the Pirates of Pugmire vehicle rules to land vehicles, in case you just want to use land vehicles in your games for whatever reason. Now you can. Simple rules with some examples and more importantly, examples explaining how I reached that example, how I reached the numbers in the example stat line, because a lot of times the rules will be there to support making something, but there'll be no practical examples with no or there will be examples, but there'll be no explanations given. So I'm just trying to remove as many barriers to comprehension as I possibly can. Hence the purpose of the show as well. And then just 6 backgrounds. I believe I just adapted the backgrounds from Pugmire and reflavored them. It's been a while since I was doing since I've been doing Highways and Byways, since I last did Highways and Byways, sorry. But I'm pretty sure these were just the Pugmire backgrounds reflavored, or the Pugmire background tricks reflavored. Monarchies of Mao characters don't get background tricks, if I recall correctly. I could be misremembering. I think their trick comes from elsewhere. But I have the rulebook open, so I can double check. Nope. Yes, the background does not give you a trick. Oh, the house gives you 2 secrets as well. Cool. Neat. So that's where cat ones come from. And then series of just spells that would be useful for traveling. 2 basics, 1 level 1, 2 level 1s, and a level 2. I may increase this to 2 per level, up to 5. I haven't yet decided. And I know that before I took the break from this project to expand on the notes for the adventure that I ran during the Kickstarter for Realms of Pugmire, or the crowdfunder for the Realms of Pugmire. I know I said I was going to do callings. My plan is to still do 2 new callings. Again, probably a Road Warden and a fleshed out Bandit calling. But I have been going through a lot of stuff recently, and I'm not particularly in the mood for calling design deep dives. Certainly, from my perspective as a community content writer. And if you have picked up Morty Corgi, and I'm mortified that my brain has been calling that Monty Corgis since I was invited to work on Morty Corgi's acid shanties. My brain always read the R as an N for some reason. I did contribute some callings to that, so I have some experience writing callings, but I've just been going through so much recently that I'm not in the right place to want to go into that deep dive and to feel like I can do it justice. So today, we're going to do some more variant rule stuff. We're going to do some random encounters. Which, anyone who has come to this stream from any of the social media links I shared before I went live would know that, because I try to put what I'm talking about in the going live message. So a quick caveat to this. This will not be a exhaustive random encounters table broken down by level and the terrain and things of that nature. That is beyond A, the scope of the product, and B, is not really what I'm interested in writing right now. I may take these variant rules and make just a random encounter book at some point assuming a party of 4 characters. This is an appropriate hero, 4 appropriate encounters to roll to randomly determine between in this terrain. Maybe eventually I'll do that. I don't know. That might be a collaboration with someone else, because that's a lot of encounters to stat up and figure out. Oh, thanks, Pramster. I never wanted to take a break, but I kept... So, just kind of like behind the curtain, look at behind the screen. While this year has been terrible for personal life reasons, I also got a bit overwhelmed. This year's been pretty good for like freelance work, but everything got on top of me. And thank you for that subscription, Zach Rules. Congratulations for the 44 months. Congratulations on the 44 months. We thank you for the 44 months. One of the two. Yeah, I just got overwhelmed with contract writing and personal life stuff clashing so much that something had to give, and regrettably it was this show. I love this show. I love doing this show. It gets me out of my comfort zone. It makes me critically evaluate why I do things in certain ways and how I can improve on doing them. And obviously, hopefully, you'll enjoy learning from my experience, and the questions that chat raises occasionally do also help me change my thinking. I don't know everything. I've been hired to write. In this case, I have been hired to write on Realms of Pugmire material, but doesn't mean I know everything. That just means that someone somewhere thought I had potential. That said, please do pick up Thieves and Curs. It's going to be such a good book. Yes, so, Mental Rewind, Random Encounter Inspiration, why I'm not writing loads of tables. If anyone does particularly want to collaborate with me, I might put a call out for that on the Canis Minor channel in the Onyx Path Discord server next year, so I guess if you're interested in that kind of thing, join the Onyx Path Discord server. At some point, the Nightbot will drop the link. I can never remember the chat command to get the links. But hopefully it'll drop it and you can join it. And then, as I said, at some point in the new year, I might build on this idea. I don't know. I'd love to do more collaborations next year, particularly as like a development role, because I would like to point my career in that direction. But we'll see. Anyway, so random encounter inspiration. So there's no hard and fast rules around random encounters, and I have gone on at length about my personal approach to encounters, and how an encounter should always serve the narrative, be there for players to test new things out, or just be there as world building. I really don't think that an encounter should be there just to be an encounter. Even if initially it starts off that way, generally I'll find some way of tying it in by the end of the encounter. Even if that's just sorry, my hair keeps tickling my nose. Even if that's just one of the antagonists has something on them that ties into something the players are doing, or foreshadows something the players are about to encounter themselves, or play characters, I should say. But random encounter tables and ways of generating random encounters can be incredibly useful. A lot of the time, obviously, creating whole cloth from nothing is incredibly difficult, and not everyone is comfortable doing that, and I totally understand. Sometimes my brain cells are a little slow, and I can't think of anything particularly interesting, so I just glanced at a random encounter table. So this is more what I'm aiming for here, is a series of... I'll probably do it as tables, but not granularly. A series of options that will hopefully inspire interesting encounters. You know what, let's put encounter inspiration and explain this in slightly better detail. And now we'll get to the least interesting part of the show, while I narrate what I'm typing and you can hear the keystrokes in the background. Following section isn't a granular breakdown of all possible random encounters. All the possible random encounters you could need. For your game. Instead, it is comprised of a series of, I guess, randomized prompts. that can be used as seeds for your own encounters. Want to pop in and say hi? Time for you to log into work. Have a great streaming day. Well, thank you for popping in and saying hi, Zach. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully work isn't too bad. And I appreciate you swinging by. Onyx Path obviously appreciates you swinging by. Hopefully we'll appreciate you swinging by. My hair. Comprised that used to see for your own encounters. If you want to embrace the randomness and generate an encounter on the fly, I recommend following system. Tab to indent. You know what? Let's just do this as a bullet pointed list. Why not? Decide on a time interval. I usually go with an interval of one leg of the journey. Distance between two major landmarks. How long have I been? Oh god, have I been using characters or PCs? All player characters. Characters. Cool. Along the character's route. Although you may prefer an interval of 1 day. For shorter journeys. Have the characters decide who is leading the journey. Who is leading the journey? Sorry, who is leading the group during that interval? And have that character, I guess, you know, we'll stick with character-facing language. Have that character roll 1d20. Oh god, is it? Oh, just the specific phrasing in Pugmire. Sorry, I'm just scanning through the Pugmire rulebook. Yeah, I'll just do this. If they are proficient in survive, just check see if there's any other skills that would be relevant, although survive seems to be the most relevant one. I suppose survive or notice, let's say. Or notice or survive. Alphabetical order is your friend. They are proficient in notice or survive. They may roll 2d20. Their result determines the I guess the encounter, if any. The party comes across. Oops. There we go. And now please bear with me because I realised in hindsight that I don't have my encounter table written in Word anywhere, so I need to go to... wrong website. I need to go to my campaign note website thing. I need to go to the website where I keep all my campaign notes. There we go. Because I have it written down there. What was it? Control Alt V, I think. Yes. As unformatted text, please. Thank you. So this needs bullet pointing, and this needs to be a table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I need a title bar as well. Cool. So that should be D20. Whoops. Be lowercase. And results. Whoops. And I'm gonna... We'll do... Hang on. Can I just copy paste the table from up here? Probably can. We'll fix it. So, I need 1 through 5 separately, 2, 3, whoops. I'll explain my method in a moment. Nope, 15. And then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, please. Thank you. No, I didn't want that. Sorry, bear with me while I do this, and then I'll get onto the explanation proper. Result. Opportunity. Okay, so obviously, the actual results don't matter particularly. There we go. I need to turn off. Yes, the actual results themselves don't particularly matter. They could be in any order. D20 obviously is nominally random. So theoretically, I could have just scattered these all across the D20 as long as none of the results were doubled. Whoops. No borders, and then bottom. Does that match the table up here? Yes. This needs bolding and then result. However, obviously, when you are doing something like the particularly in a D20 game, well, I'm just going to generalize for D20 games right here. Oh gosh, did I not make the right table? Dang it. where the 20 is a good result in most cases, and the 1 is a bad result in most cases. It just helps to make things consistent, particularly for player expectations, to have all of the negative outcomes at the bottom and all of the positive outcomes at the top of the bell curve, the extremes of the bell curve. Sorry. So that's why you're more likely to get an ally result at the higher end of the die and an enemy's result at the bottom end of the die. I do need to clarify something here. Results of... There should not be a space here. That's what was throwing me off. Results of 1 to 5. Should have a more negative or antagonistic tone, while those between 16 to 20 would be more positive. So as an example, you know what? I'll provide an example. Nope. PG. Enemies encountered on an 18 may be or may flee early, or may only attack the party with misunderstanding. While allies encountered on 3 it proved to be treacherous, or require payment of some kind. There we go. So the more positive results at the higher end of the D20 roll, just because that's the way the players of the game will be thinking. That's the way the game teaches them the dice work. Obviously, if you want to mess with player expectations, I'm not saying you can't. There's certainly a lot of cool design space around subverting player expectations. And you could just treat this as a completely random result. And yes, you're more likely to encounter enemies on the 1 or at the bottom end of the D20. But there's no saying that those enemies can't be the same enemies that you'd encounter as a result of an 18. I structured my table this way, just ignoring all of that stuff for now. I structured the table this way because a lot of the time the kind of default random encounter roll is simply one player, once a day of travel, or whatever the interval is, rolls a d20, and usually it's on a 5 or lower, something happens. And then you roll a different, depending, then roll on a different table to see what happens. And again, I don't like one roll leading in, functionally one roll on a table, in which case the table has the result of 1 to 5 something happens, 6 to 20 nothing happens, to then roll on a different table. So again, I tied it into, you resolve everything in one roll. It's just faster, it's easy to keep track of at the table. Obviously, I am going to be providing some tables that you can roll on if you want to, but if you're just looking for inspiration, this will provide that inspiration. for myself, I just use this table. I don't then have a second table to roll, a table of enemies to roll, and a table of allies to roll, and a table of locations, etc. Because that's not what I need it for. I just need that initial inspiration. However, as I've said, I know some people really like random encounter tables, and I'm not saying their fun is wrong. I'm not saying I haven't used them in the past myself. I absolutely have. Sometimes you just need that inspiration to help you get started, and by providing this table first, hopefully that will do that. So time interval, obviously I've touched on. I usually go with it. The default of of having a 1 in 4 chance of having a random encounter, it's kind of, why not just roll d4? Why are you rolling a d20? You could just roll a d4 and on a result of 1, the exact same thing happens. Obviously, if you have skewed the table slightly so you're more likely to get a random encounter, by all means, use the d20 or a different die size. But that default, I don't understand it. I also don't, again, this is personal preference. If you're going to be, if you want to introduce random encounters to your table, embrace it. Don't have it as a thing that's just there in the background. If you want them, have them. If you don't want to have them as scripted and you do want them randomized, obviously have a list of encounters that could happen at every event, at every possible. Sorry. If you want to have them, but you don't want scripted encounters, because obviously a lot of people throw scripted encounters into support story beats, whereas random encounters are just the things you find on the road as world building. So if you do want them for that kind of thing, but you do want players to have a realistic chance of encountering them and then getting the world building that way, or loot that way if they haven't picked up on something that you'd hidden for them and you just want to give them the item. So obviously you'll notice on this table I've doubled the odds, slightly more than doubled the odds of actually having an encounter happen, and then having the character who's leading the party roll 2d20 if they're proficient in notice or survive. It's just these skills will help you on your journey, and they will help you to see other things along the way that other characters might not see. It's a may roll 2d20. Oh yeah, I need to clarify that. If the leader rolled 2d20, both results happen. They may occur simultaneously. I knew something was going wrong there, but I could not figure it out while talking. They may occur simultaneously or at different points on this leg of the journey. Yeah, so you may roll 2d20, and obviously, if you're rolling 2d20, you've got more or less while each d20 has the same chance of getting an encounter, it sort of works. Very basic, rough Comrade Bubbles maths tells me that you get roughly twice the odds of getting an encounter. If you have a 1 in 2 chance every time, then you're rolling twice. Obviously, it may result in you get 2 results at the upper end of the table, you get 2 results at the lower end of the table, or you get 1 result from either end of the table and a nothing result. Or 2 nothing results. But the travel aspect of the journey, I don't know, like, for me, I play to explore, right? I like exploring the world. I like pushing buttons to see what happens. Within, reason, I don't like to make things uncomfortable for other players. I will... How to explain this? I will deliberately make suboptimal choices within the bounds of the fiction. I won't just break the game for my own enjoyment. So I like to have the ability to explore the world, to see what else is around, to meet new characters, build new allies, forge new relationships, find cool stuff as most roleplay as most gamers do. And sometimes that just is better if two cool things happen at the same location. Sometimes it may serve the story better if only one thing happens at a time, or if you don't particularly want to get overwhelmed by mechanical overheads, keeping track of things and unnecessary secondary rules and things of that nature. I'm probably going to mention it here, but there's also, I will mention it here in a moment, but there's no, again, how to phrase this. I mentioned this in the kind of reflection on A Bolt to Die For, the adventure that I wrote for the Realms of Pugmire crowdfunding campaign, and that I've spent the past 6 episodes, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the past 6 streams talking about, oh god, April to October. I'm so sorry for long-term viewers of the show and fans of the show. I don't think the last episode's actually up. Anyway, I talked on that, in that I like to throw encounters over to my players. It's a way of getting them to... it's good buy-in, because they're then automatically invested in the encounter because they've had a hand in creating it. It allows them to do shared world building, which is always a fantastic experience in pretty much every game I've run. Obviously, you'll get instances where a player isn't terribly comfortable with it, or isn't as invested in that side of the hobby. Not everyone likes to do it, and it's totally fine. You will then, obviously, if you do engage with the collaborative world building with other players, you'll have to find some way of supporting that player's interests, so they don't feel excluded, but I have full confidence that you'll do that. Yeah, so a table like this just allows... It takes some of the stress off of you for saying on this leg of the journey something will happen, by just leaving it a random chance. Whether something does or doesn't happen, of course, there are good odds that something will happen. It's 1 in 2 odds that an encounter will occur. But you could then just say, okay, you've rolled an enemy encounter. What type of enemy do you encounter? And it can be in such broad terms as bandits or a monster, and then you make an encounter based on that. Or the players might have an enemy type they really enjoy fighting and just want that kind of encounter. And it's one of the... Sorry, 1 second. Again, it's just one of those secrets that's not really a secret for GMing. Is that good GMs, obviously, a lot of the time... Okay, subjective. I'll rephrase that. A good GM, in my opinion, should always listen to their players. They should always make the game their players want to play. It should not be, I'm the GM, it's my story, we're telling it. It should be, we're playing together, it's our story, let's explore it. Obviously, your personal preferences may differ. I'm not saying your fun is wrong. If everyone at the table enjoys your style of GMing, by all means continue. Just make sure everyone is having fun. And if they aren't, figure out how to make sure everyone is having fun, because it's a expensive hobby in terms of time commitment. And if you're not terribly sociable like I am, like I'm shy, I'm an introvert, it's a big thing to engage in a hobby like this. So you kind of want to feel like your time is being respected. Regardless, where was I? Yes, listening to your players. And so giving players the opportunity to world build and to tell you what kinds of encounters they enjoy. tells you the game they want to play. Even if it's just you roll and on any of these results. You know what? Let's add. How best would be to. Let's add a second column here. Alternative result. Oops. Got to turn caps lock off. Result, and then you could probably tell what I'm going to type here, but if you thought positive encounter, you would be absolutely right. I obviously need to go and replace these encounters with lowercase, but there we go. I'm going to explain on this when I finish talking. Yeah, so even if you're just using this table to determine if an encounter happens, and then throwing it over to your players to see what they want to do with that encounter, that one obviously requires a bit more flexibility and confidence improvising, but it's it's a totally valid way of doing it. I would caution about knowing your group before doing this. I created this table for a group of people, 4 players, the average player party size, but only one of them has played before, so I have taken I'm not giving them the option, essentially, because 3 of the 4 players aren't really confident enough in themselves at this stage to suggest encounter types. So I've taken that off. I've taken that burden on myself to just provide interesting encounters. I'm still using the results that they roll to determine what kind of encounter they come up against, but I'm not giving them the option because I just don't. I put them on the spot a couple of times and they're not terribly comfortable with it yet, so I'm waiting until that happens before I move on and give them the option. And it may not happen. They may never be comfortable with that, and that's totally fine. Again, everyone plays and plays for different reasons and enjoys different things. But even if you're using this table just to determine if an encounter happens, well, particularly if you're just using this table to determine if an encounter happens, not what type of encounter it is, and then throw it over to your players, that system will tell you very quickly what kind of encounters they like. Obviously, it's always worth asking if they want. If you end up in a trend of it's always just combat encounter after combat encounter after combat encounter, then it might be worth asking if they're interested in exploring any other kind of encounter, or if and the combat encounters are all they can kind of really think about when pressured, when put on the spot, or if that genuinely is what they want out of their campaign. And if that is what they want out of their campaign, obviously you can change things around, tweak it, what have you. Again, this what I want to do with this supplement, and it may end up being 2 supplements. I may do the player-facing stuff as a separate as a separate document, just to be like, here are the player options. They're included in this other document if you want them, along with a bunch of toolbox options for your games. But here they are, just if you just want the player options. Or I'll have a think about that. I don't like artificially inflating things by doing that, but I might ask people on the Onyx Path Discord server how they feel about that. Anyway, regardless. Yeah, this is going back to find something that hasn't been written about before. I like making toolboxes so people can fine-tune the games that they want to play. That's why I did the horror Horrors of the Continuum toolbox for the Trinity Continuum. It's not a horror game, and unless you do a lot of additional work on top of the tools I provided, it won't ever really be a horror game. But you can make it have horrific themes and deal with horrific things well enough. So with this one, again, it's not really a game about tracking travel time and rations and resources. Sure, you can if you want, but that's not really the focus of the game. The focus of the game is animals exploring and rebuilding civilization and discovering the past. But if you want to do travel stuff, here you go. Here's some stuff you can use. The good thing about this being my material is when it comes to other games that have maybe D20 inspired and have random encounter stuff, I could just copy this text here, reword it, and use it again because it's mine. I think that I'm allowed to do that under the rules of Canis Minor as a community content platform. I will probably check before I do that, obviously. But there we go. Anyway, so let's expand on what I've been talking about slightly. Depending on your comfort, your player's comfort, improvising material. That is not anywhere close to the word improvise. Fingers, thank you. Improvising material. Can use either results column. The alternative alternative results column provides a generic provides, let's say, a simple result of yes, result of an encounter happens. Or it doesn't, which determines feel of that encounter. You know, why am I discussing the alternative result column? The result column provides some inspiration as to the nature of the event encountered. While the alternative result column provides a simple result of an encounter happens or doesn't, but determines the feel of that encounter. You, as the guide, feel free to move entries around, add to, or otherwise. Oh, nope. The table as you see fit. Could provide the options you want. This table has been written to serve as inspirational purposes and to streamline the encounter generation process. The encounter, decision process. It's not really generating an encounter. I feel like generation is the wrong word. It is simply saying whether or not an encounter happens. I would just say the encounter process. However, the tables below can be used to Further refine the inspiration. If you would like more guidance. So again, going back to, I don't personally like rolling on a table and then rolling on the table, but if you need it, totally happy to provide it. So I guess enemies, allies, location, opportunity. 4 tables. Let's use d6s. Why not? So I need 7. Needs 8. It needs a title. And the easiest way to do that in Microsoft Word using a table is just add another row above and merge it. So it's still part of the table. So whenever you alter the table, this cell will be included in any alterations you make. Which was the one I was using? Nope. Is it that one? Yes. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need that one. Stop doing that game. Word, sorry. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's going to be really annoying. Okay. Oops. Nope. This is something I've never tried to do before. I've never used the table styles options. Okay, so it affects the whole table no matter what I do. Well, that's annoying. I will have to manually fill in these cells. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops, nope. So they need centering. I need centering. They need bolding. And then I need... I guess no borders? I'm just going to put title so I can see where it is and I can format it properly. And then we just need to do some fills. Oh, cursor, I got the wrong table. Whoops. Oh, I guess because it's the table style. Yeah, that's not going to work. Dang it! It doesn't really matter because the tables will obviously change in layout anyway. But I just wanted to do this for my own gratification. Obviously, it won't be a white background because I'm using dark mode. This is more just so I can read the dang table. Hold that. Okay, so, nope. I require the table, please. Thank you. Enemies. I don't goofed. allies, opportunities, locations. Is it just the 4 I need? Yes, it is. You know what? Let's alphabetize. Makes it easier for searching the text. Locations. Okay. Probably thinking about it, I will also be doing a toolbox of terrain special rules and weather, maybe. Not like horrendously difficult ones, it's just this is a simple thing to remember in this terrain with this weather. Boom. Reflavor an encounter. A group of travelers willing to trade. A group of travelers looking for help. You know what? Let's ... So, allies willing to trade. Allies looking for help. Allies with a warning about the road ahead. Allies who can teach a useful skill. Allies the characters haven't seen in some time. And then final result for the allies table. Let's go with trading, help, useful skill, road ahead, haven't seen them some time. Seeking out the characters. And then kind of a little note here. Allies in this instance is used as shorthand for characters with a neutral or better disposition towards the characters. Nope. Enemies who will fight to the death. Enemies who want to steal the characters. And obviously, there's always the good old-fashioned enemies who are seeking out the characters specifically for whatever purpose. Fight to the death, want to steal from the characters. Who are defending their home. Let's go with What other reason would a random combat encounter happen? Who needs something the characters have? I want this to be one-line results. We need something the characters may have. Whether or not the characters have it is an entirely different matter, but the characters may have it according to the people who are attacking them. And then option number 5. Just as a side note, I like D6 for tables. D4, yes, it's easy to write because fewer results, but you have fewer results, so there's less variation. D6 or D8 is kind of the sweet spot for me, at least. A D10 just becomes a little... there's just a lot of entries in a D10 table, and that brings with... Sorry, just shuffling slightly in my chair. That brings with it the... like a lack of focus, in a way. And obviously, I'm trying to present these results in a neutral tone to account for the fact that they may have a positive background to them, depending on if it's the 18 result or the 1 and 2 result. So, like, fleeing something else is more a reason behind doing these things, not the act that they are, not the core of the encounter, let's say. Gosh. Why doesn't the D5 exist? I mean, I know you can get D5s. Why doesn't the D5 exist in most dice sets, let's say? Nailed it. Let's just say who want to fight. This is with a negative disposition. The allies and I think it should be bolded, but I'll put them in air quotes for now. The allies and enemies tables below have been kept neutral to provide a core for the encounter. The reasoning behind the encounter should be informed by its tone, as described above. Good old M-dash. Just dependent on the result rolled. as described above. I guess encounters provide some guidance. Encounters with allies can result in equipment, fortune, previously unknown opportunities. Being made available. Encounters with enemies can be used to provide new equipment, textbooks, or allow the characters a glimpse. Let's say, sorry. The personal stuff that's happening is keeping me up at night. Allow the characters a glimpse into let's say goings on behind the veneer of civilization. So if there's any predominant things happening within bandit groups, for example, this is a way to convey that information without the play. If the players aren't particularly, if the story isn't directed on banditry, but you want the players to be aware of that as foreshadowing, this is how you would do it. For example. Right, location. Ruins. Road. / river, etc. I was just thinking of features that would environmental features that would affect an encounter in some way. I guess a building. Natural terrain feature. Large tree or rock, etc. Unnatural feature. Corrupted plant. Giant corpse. Etc. Last thing here, so we've got ruins and buildings. So those are obviously flip sides of each other. Natural terrain and unnatural terrain features, flip side of each other. Road or river is just the thing that you're fighting on, is the thing you're traveling on. I guess roll twice. Ignoring this result again. So that you get 2 terrain features. Roll twice more. This just table is intended to help inspire a set piece for the encounter. take place around. The history of that set piece could tie into... Should set piece be one word? Nope. I guess I could hyphenate it. Could tie into your game. Will be used as an opportunity for world building. Some set pieces or locations may warrant their own special rules. See page. Oh, Onyx Path uses XX for suggestions. Yeah, so I write for a couple of different companies, and the number of ways you can say reference page whatever in a manuscript that isn't complete and has no page numbers is surprising. I thought everywhere would use page XX, but it's not the case. Alternatively, a location may include a rare ingredient. Magic item for Masterworks, and that's right. I think that in both they're called Masterworks. I'm just double checking that. Yes, Masterworks. May include a rare ingredient. Let's say a rare object. The ingredient, material, or other. Or anything else characters may benefit from, but otherwise have no way of getting. I have no way of obtaining. Negative locations. Say location encounters with a negative tone may still have positive rewards, but should be dangerous. Should be dangerous, and will likely have will likely contain objects that will be deleterious, because I just like that word. The characters it picked up. Save the game. I will probably change that in editing to be something less pretentious, but I just wanted to write the word deleterious. I have no other explanation for that. Okay, just checking the time. Let's see if I can finish the opportunities table. This was a bit more ambiguous in my brain. Opportunities, when I originally drafted this table, was just roll twice on the table, and you combine the encounters, but then I expanded the table because I started with the 1 in 4 chance, and I was like, well, just make it 1 in 8 and have relevant people roll twice. An NPC in need. A rare item is discovered. A shortcut is found. What else could an opportunity produce? Short-term benefit is introduced. I guess a hoard of plastic. Discovered, found, introduced. I need a synonym, chat. I need a synonym. I guess uncovered. And these are basically like small quest hooks, pretty much. Again, just build on the world building rather than anything concrete. What would that final result be? I've got an ally or an enemy. 2 that tie into locations. Short-term benefit, hoard of plastic. Short-term benefit here would be I'm envisaging something like here is an opportunity to gain fortune, for example. Or like here is a trick that you know until you next nap, sleep, rest. Let's say rest for a generic overview. I don't want to explicitly just say foreshadowing. Oh, an alternative solution is presented. There we go. The tone of an opportunity. Positive or negative. Should determine how easy it is to resolve, or how long it lasts. A negative NPC in need encounter could result in an enemy being made if the party fails. Characters fail, let's say. For example. While a positive short-term benefit encounter would result in characters having access to a trick until the end of the journey. I guess short-term benefits would include fortune, temporary access to new tricks, an advantage, there we go, that's the word, on certain roll types. Or similar. Alternative solutions shouldn't be obvious. It should be reasonably easily deduced. Unlike the other encounter types, opportunities can be failed. Sorry, opportunities should be behind puzzles, combat, or similar challenges. And can be failed. They should have narrative consequences. Only for as long as you, as the guide, want them to last. And there we go. I feel like some progress has been made today, about 1,000 words. I think it's 600 words have been written. Again, because I'm talking things through constantly throughout the show, it does artificially extend the writing process. But I'm relatively happy with this encounter inspiration section for highways and byways. So as a recap, this is not intended as an exhaustive. This is a random just a list of random encounter tables. That's not what I want to be writing right now. It is just a series of things to use as inspiration for your own tables. And if you're watching this live, you don't even have to wait until the book comes out. You can use this right now. I'm just going to leave it on this for a moment for if you want to take a screenshot, for example, while I explain that if you have tuned in towards the end of the stream and you would like to watch the start of the stream, you have a couple of options. You can subscribe on Twitch to twitch.tv/the Onyx Path. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a link in the description. And you can subscribe there, and you get instant access to all of the videos aired within the last week. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch Prime account, to get a Prime Gaming account, which gives you one free subscription a month. I'm just going to scroll down slightly for no reason whatsoever, you understand. And that account is that Prime Gaming account gives you one free subscription a month. It functions exactly the same as a tier 1 subscription for yourself and for the channel that you use it on. You get all the benefits, the channel gets all the benefits. The only difference is you have to auto-renew it. You have to manually renew it yourself. Unlike a normal subscription, it does not automatically renew if everyone is done with the screen print. Your other options are... Oh, look, I'm scrolling again. Your other options are to wait a week. After that week is up... hey, look at that! It actually worked. Thank you, Bramster, for that subscription. Enjoy that Tier 1 sub and all of the benefits that you get as part of that Tier 1 subscription, including emotes. I believe there is a Discord channel on the Onyx Path fan Discord, Onyx Path community Discord server, sorry. As well as, video on demand. After that week is up, you can watch the video on twitch.tv/the Onyx Path, or it will go up on the Comrade Bubbles YouTube channel. I think if you type in youtube.com/@Comrade Bubbles, it will take you to the right channel, where there is a behind the screen playlist with all of the past streams of the show archived for posterity. The format has changed in the 75 episodes that I've been running the show, and no doubt it will change again in the future. But that's how you can catch up on material that you may have missed so far in the show. Hopefully it has been slightly entertaining. Just as a brief reminder, I'm no longer doing the full Monday meeting notes breakdown. Simply promoting stuff that needs to be promoted and is immediately relevant. But if you go to the Monday meeting notes, the link is available. Where's the chat box gone? There it is. The link is available right there. And scroll down about a quarter of the way. You will see some artwork, in progress artwork for Threats and Curs, the monster book coming at some point, coming for Realms of Pugmire. These have been also shown on the Onyx Path Discord server. The Dread Babbler and Glurp, the Gastropod Dragon. One of those is my baby. I'm not telling you which one, but they're both adorable and I would die for them. There's no crowdfunding campaign. The last one finished at 550% funded, so thank you to everyone who donated, who chipped in, who supported the Abyssal's Splat book for Exalted 3rd Edition. Rest of the week's streaming schedule, Tuesday 8 PM, so today at 8 PM Eastern, Trinity Continuum Anima, The Beginner's Guide. Wednesday 9 PM Eastern, Scarred Lands, Sins of Shelzar. Thursday 9 PM Eastern, Hunt of the Vigil, Fear and Loathing. And Sunday 6 PM Eastern, Scion 2nd Edition, Godsend. Obviously at some point during this week there is also an Onyx Path news update, as well as a Pathcast episode. Actually, if you've enjoyed me kind of talking about Pugmire, I believe last week's Pathcast episode maybe was a design diary for Threats and Curs. Current sales going on, if you want to save some money. Studio 2 and Indie Press Revolution are the physical outlets for Onyx Path books. Studio 2 are the kind of standard, traditionally printed books, and Indie Press Revolution are the deluxe and prestige books, as well as Dice and Screens. They're both having an end of year sale on. Links are provided in the Monday meeting notes. And on sale this Wednesday, we have Hunt of the Vigil Killing Time, a jumpstart for Hunt of the Vigil 2nd Edition. And out of nowhere, as a special, quote, special holiday treat, Once and Future, a source book for Scion 2nd Edition, being your one-stop shop for Arthurian legends and Welsh myths and things within Scion 2e. And as a friendly reminder, this month's game night is Exalted Essence themed. It doesn't have to be Exalted Essence if you want to run a game or play in a game, but the theming is Exalted Essence. And that will take place on the last Friday of the month, which is the 29th of December. Not much left for me to say, really. This is a bi-weekly show, theoretically, so I should be back maybe on the 2nd of January, but we'll see how I'm feeling. Christmas is always an extremely stressful time for me. I do not deal well with disrupted routine. I do not deal well with bright colours and loud noises, bright lights and loud noises, sorry, and I do not deal well with crowds. So we'll see how I'm feeling. I may have to take that day off, but I have put thought into self-care and how to manage my competing demands in the next year. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be able to stream with more consistency next year and will not be overwhelmed by contract writing and everything else that is going on. Hopefully, most of the stuff that is going on doesn't happen next year, because I would really love that to be the case. But if you want to see any of the promo graphics for the schedule this week, see if any of them do tickle your fancy, please do stick around. I'll be around in chat for a few more minutes to answer any lingering questions. If you do have any lingering questions that you wish to ask me, by the way, I can be found on Twitch at Comrade Bubbles. I'll be going live in about sometime within the next half hour, I would expect, for some video game chill. I say video game chill, playing Alan Wake 2, but for some video game times. And I am on Blue Sky. It's like comradebubbles.bsky.app or whatever it is. I don't know the default Blue Sky domain name. Something along those lines. Just look for my face, really. But yes. I think that's it. So yeah, please stick around for the graphics if you want to check any of those things out. But until I see you next time, please do have a great holiday season. Well, I should say, please have as good a holiday season as you possibly can. I hope it is full of warmth and joy, and that you have the support you need throughout this time, if it is a difficult time of the year for you. But I will be heading over to the post roll. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate the support. Please do stay safe. Please do stay healthy. Please do stay wholesome. Please do come back. I'm begging you. But I'll see you around. Bye.